This is the Nvidia GTX 1080 Asus ROG Strix edition. Featuring a 3-fan open-air design, fully customable RGB LED lighting, and higher clock speeds, this aims to not only be the ultimate GTX 1080, but the ultimate graphics card. But is it? Over the last 2 weeks, I found out. And so then, the Nvidia GeForce GTX 1080. Nvidia's latest and greatest graphics card that not only aims to be better than the previous generation 980, but literally be the best graphics card on the market today. So have they done it? Well, let's start by taking a look at the card itself. And of course, as this is a third-party manufacturer's card, Asus have gone and slapped their own cooler on this. And this is the Asus ROG Strix Edition cooler. It features an open air design with 3 fans, and this is going to give you much better cooling performance as long as you have a decent case with decent airflow. If you're using a case that is a little bit more restrictive, then maybe you'd be better off looking at something like the Founders Edition, which is a blower design and will literally extract all the heat out of the case rather than just circulating it within. The Strix Edition features a solid backplate to stop your card bending, as well as an illuminated logo that you can customize in software. Looking at the top of the card, you'll find additional Strix branding, as well as a Republic of Gamers logo, which is also RGB illuminated. Looking at the power connection of the card, unlike the standard Founders Edition, you'll find an 8-pin and a 6-pin connection, and this will basically just give you more room for overclocking if that is your bag. Ports wise, you'll find a DVI, 2 DisplayPort and 2 HDMI, and what they've done here is remove one of the DisplayPorts and swap it out for an HDMI, so this is going to suit more people that want 2 HDMI displays or 1 HDMI display and a VR headset. You'll also find 2 SLI fingers on the top of the card, but please note that only 2-way SLI is now supported out of the box. On the Strix Edition, you'll also find some fan headers that can be used to control your fans in relation to your GPU temperature. But that's enough of the overview of the card. What about benchmarks? How does this thing stack up to its competition? And is it really the best performing graphics card out there? Well, we tested an array of games, and this is how we got on. So to kick us off, let's start with the game I've been playing the most recently, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And as you can see from these benchmarks, the results are so impressive. The 1080 is more or less doubling what you're getting from the 980. And yes, you can get the Titan and you can get the 980 Ti, but when you think this is essentially a replacement for the 980, it is an incredibly impressive feat from one generation's difference. Very impressive results indeed. Moving on to Far Cry Primal, and the impressive results continue, with the 1080 showing just how much of a powerful card this thing is. In terms of VRAM, this has 8GB, so you shouldn't have to worry about cranking up textures and anti-aliasing and running out of VRAM, and thus getting a stutter-free experience. But this card still shows you that it still can't quite manage 4K on a single card, ultra settings at 60 frames a second, but we are getting very close. Moving on to Dirt Rally, and well, the 980 was an incredibly impressive card when it came out, running this game without a hitch at 4K. But with DisplayPort 1.4 coming out and high refresh rate 4K monitors, this is definitely something you're going to want to try with the 1080, because it literally destroys the competition with 87 frames a second at 4K. Very, very impressive. Now, the final game in the benchmark tests was Batman Arkham Knight, and again, the GTX 1080 shows its dominance and clearly destroys its competition. And the fact that you can get this level of performance for less money than a GTX Titan is what has everyone talking. Yes, it's still a very, very expensive card, but when you can get frame rates like this, why would you need anything else? And so, there we have it, the new king of graphics cards, the GTX 1080. Faster than the Fury, faster than the 980, and as you have no doubt seen from other benchmarks, this is faster than the Titan and the 980 Ti. But of course the question is, for how long? How long is this going to be the champion until something else comes along? Is there going to be a new Titan? Will there be a 1080 Ti? almost certainly. The Asus Strix edition does also feature this cool LED lighting, and it's RGB, so you can customize it to any color you like, and there's an array of patterns. You can have it cycling, you can have it breathing, you can have it strobing, or you can do some cool things like have it related to the temperature of the graphics card, so you can see when it's under stress, when it's under load, and whether it's not really doing anything at all. And overall, it's a very good looking card, but if you have an inverted case like me, unfortunately you can't see it in its best light. So there we have it, the GeForce GTX 1080 Strix Edition. The most powerful and most impressive graphics card I've ever tested to date. And yes, it's very expensive, but if you can justify it, it's easily a top purchase, which is why it wins the Top Purchase Award. A massive thank you to Asus for providing this review sample. Please note that their review samples are all sent out with the OC mode on, but of course you can turn this on yourself very easily with the software. And so, a massive thank you for you guys for checking out this video. A massive thank you to Corsair for sponsoring the channel. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Let me know what you think, and please stand by for the 1070 and RX 480 reviews coming in the coming weeks. A massive thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next video.